So, Happy New Year po ulit sa ating lahat. We already have proper introduction to the auditing in public fiscal management, the key principles of financial accountability, and the audit process in public sector from my co-discussant, Ma'am Karen. Now we then delve into the second part of our topic on the auditing and financial accountability role play on audit scenarios. So I am Engineer Alejandrina B. Pasco IV, and I will be presenting my part of this topic. I hope you will be able to learn something valuable from my report. My presentation will be divided into subtopics. First one will be the common audit findings in public sector management. The second will be demonstrate real-world audit scenarios through role play. And then we will be providing actionable recommendations to strengthen auditing and accountability. So let's begin with subtopic one. So auditing is a crucial and critical tool for ensuring financial accountability, efficient management of resources, especially in public and government sectors. So there are major types of audits shown on the slide. So we already have an idea on that. Financial audit focuses on whether the financial information of an organization is accurate and follows accounting standards. And then we know that compliance audit ensures laws, regulations, and internal policies are followed. Management audit evaluates the overall effectiveness of efficiency of an organization's management practices, systems, and operations. Performance audit checks if things are done efficiently and effectively. So, example, this audit would ask the National Irrigation Administration, our agency, if did we deliver irrigation water to our farmers as planned? Was the cost of delivering our irrigation service reasonable? Could it have been done better? So that's the questions under performance audit. So under operations audit, we assess if regular tasks like filing reports or maintaining records are being done correctly and on time. So there are other types that are also indicated on the slide. So these are internal audit, forensic audit systems, process audit, environmental audit, information technology audit, and root cause analysis audit. So these auditing activities have four key phases: auditing engagement planning, audit execution, audit reporting, and audit follow-up. So there are common examples of audit findings reflected on the slide. On the slide, sorry. There are common examples of audit findings reflected on the slide. So these findings are assessed based on four critical factors. So what are these factors? These are criteria, conditions, conclusions, and causes. So by understanding these elements, auditors can pinpoint the root causes of issues and recommended corrective actions. So these are explained by my co-discussant, Miss Karen. So we have got here some examples of audit findings under financial audit, compliance audit, and management audit. For instance, under the financial audit, lack or without regular financial reconciliation could result in a potential fraud or errors. So, why? Dahil sa hindi na napapansin yung discrepancies ng cash flows, so yung mga fraudulent personnel or officials may take this opportunity to corrupt the funds reported as utilized or used, so but actually are not yet still spent. So these are the risks that would happen if we don't see the problem. Basically, the auditing can see this problem. So before escalating, we can address this one. So on the other side, if we conduct a due process and procedures, maybe we can cancel the root cause, which is we did not see the discrepancy in the cash flow. So we also have other examples here from operations audit. So audit findings are wasteful expenditure, non-resolution of long-standing issues, and untimely submission of reports. And then last on this slide is the management audit of misappropriation of funds, unretired accountability impressed, and failure to act on audit recommendation. Now, ano ba tong unretired accountable impressed? From my references and research on this, so unretired accountable impressed is money given in advance to a government employee or officer for a specific purpose, but they haven't yet provided the required receipts or proof showing how the money was spent. So if they don't submit the proof called retiring or liquidating the impressed, it remains unsettled and raises concerns about whether the funds were used properly. So my example po dito siguro is that when we go to field work, we have this plane tickets and all. So after that, we will be reimbursing. And then when we reimburse, maybe some receipt will be not we will not able to attach other receipts. Example, yung receipt ng Cebu Pacific or yung Philippine Airlines hindi po natin lalagay. So it could possibly cause for an audit findings. We also have here performance audit examples such as yung pong inefficient use of resources and weakening monitoring evaluation, and then the environmental audit. um, Examples are yun pong non-compliance with environmental regulations, inefficient waste management, and safe handling of hazardous materials. So lastly, we have here the compliance audit, where the examples of audit findings are failure to follow procurement procedures and compliance with COA's issuance and unsupported payments. For the third example, we can refer to the case of the issue surrounding the Office of the Vice President's utilization of the 125 million confidential funds in 2022. So ano po ba yun? So I just got some uh, chronological events tabulation here. So on uh, December 2022, the Office of the Vice President received, ano ba itong issue muna to? So I'll be explaining kumbaga para we have the same level of understanding bakit po natin sinasample ito and why is this perfect for the compliance audit, kumbaga na sample for auditing. So in 2022 daw, so December 2022, that the Office of the Vice President received 125 million in confidential funds from DBM. And these were expended within 11 days. So that's the big issue here. So makikita niyo po yung mga pictures, meron po siyang ano dito, meron pong breakdown po ng costing nung pong 125 million pesos na gastos. So in 2023 daw, yung Vice President nagpatuloy po siya in 2023, and then yung Office of the Vice President stated that there was nothing irregular or unauthorized However, based on reports, they confirmed that there were rapid use of funds. So, and then it escalate in year 2024. Nagkaroon po ng intensified investigations and legal actions. So, this is between August to December. So, in August, si COA ay nag-issue po ng disallowance for the 73 million of the 125 million pesos na confidential funds. So, citing that irregularity and lack of proper documentation. So, compliance nga po, nakikita parang compliance kasi hindi po nag-secure ng proper documentation ang Office of the President daw. So, on September, naging usap-usapan sa budget deliberation. Kung makikita nyo po, may mainitang sagutan po dito between the Office of the Vice President and the other congressman. So, ayan, so si OVP po had spent 16 million of confidential funds on the rental, palaman po ng maintenance of 34 safe houses over the 11-day period in December 2022. So, on November, again, part po ng budget deliberation, budget proceedings po natin. So, nag-petition po ang ah, ang ah, ang kung ano mang sino mang partido na itinaas po sa Supreme Court yun pong kaso dun po kay OVP. Then they suggested to or required the OVP to return yung pong 125 million confidential funds to the National Treasury. Then the bank officials testified that the millions in the confidential funds were withdrawn by OVP and the Deputy Special Disbursing Officers, including ito pong nandito po sa gitna po natin na kasama po, katabi po ni OVP, OVP Sara, na si Chief of Staff Zuleika Lopez. And they stored it in a duffel bag daw. So going forward, on December, uh, yung PSA nag-report naman ng 60% of the 677 individuals listed as recipients po of DepEd's confidential funds had no records in the National Civil Registry. So mukhang ghost po yung mga pangalan. Ghost yung nakalist na mga pangalan. So further, intensifying the scrutiny over the disbursement and documentation of these funds. So going forward in this year, hanggang ngayong January, nagkakaroon pa rin po ng investigation. Ongoing pa rin po yung investigation doon sa case ng OVP on this confidential funds. So, ine-examine po nila yung appropriateness, documentation, and legality ng expenditures ng ating OVP dun sa 125 million. I hope that the COA will finally and the overall government will finally have a solution or verdict on this case. So we have other example here, which is a type of compliance audit again, where the Commission on Audit gave the National Irrigation and Audit Observation Memorandum. So they flag compliance issues involving the submission of climate expenditure tagging (CCET) quality assurance review forms for the fiscal year 2023. So ito is about our submission of QAR. So the audit classified as compliance audit. So it highlights non-compliance with Section 5.1.4 of the DBM CCC Joint Memorandum Circular number 2015-01. So the observation underscores the importance of adhering to established guidelines to ensure transparency and accountability in public spending. particularly for programs addressing this climate change. So, in compliance and to address the audit observation of COA, NIA had already submitted on September 2024 its compliance, considering the recommendation of COA to comply by submitting the required forms via email to the CCC. So now let's look at two examples demonstrated through role play of auditing, highlighting the examples of audit findings. So the first scenario, a government agency bypasses procurement guidelines to expedite purchase. So the second scenario shows the consequences of delayed submission of financial reports. So to make this presentation a little interesting, I have created a simple role-playing scene that I will present to you. Let us explore and observe the scenarios, analyze them further, and work together to develop actionable recommendations for improvement. So please be attentive as I will be asking questions and I will be giving GCash prizes po. So here is the role play on the failure to follow procurement procedures. So the role play takes place in the conference room of government agency. The auditor is reviewing procurement transactions with the procurement officer and presenting findings to agency head.
Thank you for meeting with us. As part of our compliance audit, we reviewed your agency's procurement transactions for fiscal year 2025. Let's discuss one specific finding regarding a 10 million peso purchase of office equipment.
Of course, sir. What seems to be the issue?
We found that no public bidding was conducted for this transaction, which violates Republic Act 9184 under Section 10. For purchases exceeding 1 million peso, competitive bidding is the default procurement method unless justified otherwise. Can you explain why this process was bypassed?
Due to time constraints, we directly awarded the contract. We assumed it qualified under emergency procurement provisions.
Under Republic Act 9184, emergency procurement is valid only in extreme cases such as calamities or imminent danger to life or property, under Section 53 of its implementing rules and regulations. However, no supporting documents, such as a resolution of emergency procurement, were provided to justify this.
We recognize this as an oversight. What timelines should we have followed to comply with Republic Act 9184?
Based on Republic Act 9184 and its implementing rules and regulations, the timeline should have been as follows: posting the invitation to bid at least 7 calendar days on the PhilGIP's website, the agency's website, and in a conspicuous place at the procuring entity's premises, under implementing rules and regulations of its Section 21.2.1. Pre-bid conference, held at least 12 calendar days before the bid submission deadline under implementing rules and regulations of its Section 22.2. Submission and opening of bids, a minimum of 30 calendar days after the publication of the invitation to bid for contracts exceeding 10 million peso under implementing rules and regulations of its Section 25.5. Notice of award, issued within 15 calendar days from the date of the bid evaluation report, under implementing rules and regulations of its Section 37.1.1.
Thank you for clarifying. What are your recommendations for corrective action?
We recommend the following. First, conduct mandatory training on Republic Act 9184 for your procurement team, and then strictly adhere to the timelines outlined in the implementing rules and regulations for all future procurements. Lastly, Regularly review procurement procedures to ensure compliance.
We appreciate your guidance. We will implement these recommendations immediately and provide the necessary documentation.
Thank you. We will conduct a follow-up audit in 6 months to assess compliance. Thank you for meeting with us. As part of our compliance audit, we reviewed your agency's procurement transactions for fiscal year 2025.
That ends the first
Let's discuss one
scenario.
specific finding regarding a 10 million.
I have question here. So what type of audit was conducted on this audit? So this could be and probably a compliance audit. So it mentions in pong as compliance with the 91,084, the procurement law, and its IRR and procedures, and then recommendations on uh, uh, the findings would be the issuance of uh, training to the compliance or procurement officers. So here is the role play on the second scenario, which is the untimely submission of reports. So the meeting occurs in a government agency's conference room. So the auditor is presenting findings on the untimely submission of reports to the finance officer, project manager, and the agency head.
Thank you for meeting with us. As part of our operations audit, we reviewed the submission of financial and project progress reports for 2 major infrastructure projects. Let me share our findings.
We're eager to hear the results. What did you uncover?
Our audit found delays in report submissions. For Project A, the financial accountability report was submitted 45 days after the required 30-day deadline. For Project B, the project progress report was delayed by 60 days.
We understand the importance of timely reporting, but staff shortages have made it challenging to meet deadlines. What impact did these delays have?
Thank you for meeting with us. As part of our operations audit, we reviewed the submission of financial and project progress reports for 2 major infrastructure projects.
I would like to ask, if you were the auditor, what do you think would be an appropriate audit recommendation for this? So you can drop your message or recommendation under the chat box, or you can personal message me. So here are the recommendations of our auditor.
The delays hindered the Department of Budget and Management to allocate budgets efficiently due to considerations and issuances, and affected stakeholders' decision-making for subsequent projects. To address this concern, we recommend the following steps. First, immediately assign additional staff to the finance and operations teams. Second, implement a checklist to ensure timely submission. And in the long term, automate report preparation and then conduct annual or yearly training on reporting compliance.
These recommendations are practical. We will prioritize adding staff and implementing the checklist. For automation, we'll look into project management software options.
The delays.
So, given those scenarios, we can conclude that actionable recommendations based on the auditor's findings are should be structured in a SMART framework. So, as applied in auditing and public financial management practices, so it should be specified in a specific form. So, clear and ambiguous Measurable, define success criteria. So it is also actionable. So it provides realistic steps the organization can take. So relevant, which addresses the root cause of the findings, and this recurring findings po natin. So the audit should be recommendation should be relevant to the findings. So it should also be time bound. So it includes deadlines for implementation. So going back to the two scenarios where the audit finding of recommendations are presented once more here. So we have three for each. So the actionable recommendations for two common audit findings, failure to follow procurement procedures and the untimely submission of reports are once more reflected here. So the scenario one, failure to follow procurement procedures, which focuses on the failure to adhere to uh, procurement procedures under the RA 9184. So by implementing the auditor's recommendation, organizations can minimize audit findings and maintain transparency in their procurement processes. So under scenario 2, untimely submission of reports where it addresses the delays in the submission of reports critical to compliance on requirements. So these actionable recommendations for this two examples follow the SMART framework. So it emphasizes solutions that are specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, and time-bound. By adopting these strategies, organizations can strengthen governance, ensure compliance, and enhance accountability. Of course, with our partner agency, our COA, and other relevant agencies. So, I guess, thank you po. This ends my presentation. So, have a nice one.